Hello, my name is Rennie Midas, and today we are going to be discussing the Atlanta Monster case, or better yet, what should happen next with this case. This overall case has happened over 40 years ago, and back when it was happening, it was occurring for a little over 2 years. During these 2 years, the Atlanta Monster has claimed at least the lives of 28 children and young adults. This case, up until this point, has convicted murder of Wayne Williams. However, he is only charged for the murder of 2 adults, and I now believe that we should reopen the case and look further into it. In episode 5, a reporter discusses that these families have believed in the police to figure out what has happened to their children, and after 40 years, they've still not figured out who is responsible for these wrongful acts. And I feel that this should be looked into further and investigate who else is responsible for their murders, because these families need answers. In episode 6, a police officer talks about how Wayne Williams is in prison for the killing of 2 adult males. He continues to talk about how the people use him as an excuse for all the child murders. However, Wayne Williams claims that these murders are not related to one another, and this makes me think that we should not only open the case back up, but investigate other suspects as well. In episode 1, the police keeps on pushing off this case because the killings were not happening close together, and once people started picking it up and more after more killings, there started to become a trend of the murder only going after young African Americans. I believe that it was 40 years ago, and the African American community in Georgia was deemed as a minority. The police may have not seen it as a priority, but they should have. If the police were to tackle this issue faster, they could have had more evidence, and they could have saved more lives of young children. In episode 3, once the police were on board with this plan, they camped out near a bridge with a body of water underneath it. They stayed out there for many hours with no sign of anything, and around 2 a.m., they heard a splash in the water, and after the splash, they saw a vehicle drive across the bridge. They interrogated the driver, and he answered the officer with confidence and made up a story on the spot. His story was a little sketchy, but the police ended up taking it. Through this occasion, we know that he is quick on his feet with answering questions. He is also very witty. He has the confidence and manipulation towards the officers. Also in episode 3, after answering all these questions, they took a look in his car and they found gloves, ropes, and bags of clothes. The police ended up letting him go and not even taking him to the office or taking up the evidence. A couple days after this incident occurred, they found a body of water that was discovered, and it was another young African American. The police should have taken him to the police station for further investigation, and they also should have taken some of the evidence for the car for maybe some DNA testing. In episode 6, they pulled Wayne Williams back in the office, and they found that he did not look how they imagined him to. He was very scrawny, and the police were concerned with the involvement with other people besides him because of his size. The police and investigators of this case created a simulation for what events the Wayne Williams might have had to accomplish. They made a dead weight mannequins, and people with different body strengths had to complete these tasks that they might assume that Wayne Williams had to. Majority of the police officers and investigators struggled with these tasks, and it made the investigators question whether or not Wayne Williams was alone. Through these events, it makes sense that he would have other people to help him with these murders. I feel they should reopen this case and look for other suspects while keeping Wayne Williams in jail. I believe that there is more to this case, and I feel that the families should have answers and closure to their children's deaths.